Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome. Bring up the energy, y'all. We need that February energy. Are you good, Zach, if I get going? Okay, cool. Welcome to StorySLAM. I'm Jennifer Cambris, Director of Production and Special Projects here at Montclair Film. A few announcements before tonight's event. Tomorrow, Friday, February 28th, we are hosting Montclair Improv Comedy here at Cinema 505 at 8 p.m. For any of our Montclair Film members, mark your calendars for Tuesday, March 11th for our Member Appreciation Day. Do we have any members in tonight? Oh, give them a round of applause. We love our members. Members can receive a free ticket to see a film, a chance to win prizes, treats, and much more. If you're not a Montclair Film member, now's a great time to become one. If anyone is a fan of the cult band Local H, we are screening their film Lifers on March 11th. It's somewhere in between a documentary and a concert film. The band's frontman and the director of film, Scott Lucas, will be here for a Q&A following the screening. On March 12th, in partnership with L'Alliance Montclair, we are screening Jean Cocteau in... I tried really hard to look up the pronunciation. Does anybody speak French? How do you say it correctly? Jean Cocteau? I heard it like 3 different ways. So, okay, guys, thanks. I tried really hard. He's laughing. Is a documentary about the acclaimed 20th century artist. The film's director, Lisa Freeland, will be here to discuss the film as well. Join us for the start of our new film series, In Search of Love in French Cinema, 1958 to 1964, on March 16th and 20th with the film Elevator to the Gallows. Local film teacher Gerard will discuss the film's significance to the time period both before and after the film. On March 19th, we will have a special screening of Dory Previn, On My Way to Where, in partnership with Mad in America, which will be followed by a panel discussion with a co-director and animator of the film. For any climbing fans, on March 20th, we are hosting the very popular Real Rock 19 in partnership with the Gravity Vault Montclair. We've done it for about 3 years, and it always sells out, so if you have an interest in that, grab your tickets now. Then join us on March 21st for a presentation and discussion by local filmmaker Willem Koen on the 10 greatest films ever made. Our Summer Academy classes are now on sale for middle school and high school students. It's a great way to learn a new skill this summer and have fun. Classes are offered in filmmaking, screenwriting, acting, editing, and much more. You can find out more information on these events and so much more at montclairfilm.org. Be sure to sign up for our emails and follow us at Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky to make sure you're the first to know about our upcoming events. I say this every month, but for those of you who have never been here before, follow us on socials. We get a lot of amazing opportunities in our programming that pop up, and we don't have enough time to get our emails out. We don't have enough time to do a proper announcement or press release. It goes right on our socials. This is what happened with Julia Stiles 2 weeks ago. It turned into, came to be, and then 2 days later we had her here. So follow us on those socials. The bar is open tonight. Please feel free to get yourself some concessions while I'm making these announcements and during deliberation as the storytellers are finishing up. And please note our fire exits on your left and right, as well as our restrooms, which are on your left and outside the door. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to your host for the evening, Duncan Miller. He is our oh my gosh, I love that. Let's give him a round of applause, y'all. He's our storytelling teacher and coach here at Montclair Film. Duncan is a former actor and improviser who's performed at the Second City and Improv Olympic in Chicago. He has performed in various theaters, short films, and festivals in New York City, Chicago, and Baltimore, prior to earning his master's degree in education. Currently, he is the high school academic dean at North Star Academy in Newark, helping to guide the next generation of storytellers. Please welcome Duncan.
Thank you, Jennifer. Good evening, everybody. I'm so excited to be here tonight. This is my favorite night of the month. I'm allowed out of the house one night a month, and here I am. All right, we saw that we have a ton of members in the room, and I recognize our returners. Thank you for being back, but let's see show of hands who's never been here for a StorySLAM before. Over half the room. All right, let's give it up, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So great to have you here tonight. All right, tonight, our theme for the StorySLAM is the blank date ever. Open to interpretation. Everybody's got a weird, interesting, or just the cutest date story ever. We're so excited to hear all of your stories, but if you don't know the history of St. Valentine, yeah, I am a history teacher. St. Valentine, under the Roman emperor, was marrying young lovers secretly in caves, back doors. He was absolutely defying the emperor, who wanted to keep his soldiers fresh for battle, so he wanted single soldiers exclusively. So you know what they did to him? He lost his head for love. And so we are so excited to lose our heads over these stories tonight. We are going to hear first loves, we are going to hear unrequited loves, and we're going to hear those loves that never die. We're so excited to hear your stories. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for being here to support this community. Before we dive in, we want to make sure we know our illustrious judges here in the second row. They are the ones in charge, after all. It is a friendly competition. There will be 3 prizes tonight. Montclair Film swag is on the line. The first place prize also gets a year membership to Montclair Film. It's very exciting. So we're going to meet our judges right now. In the middle here, in the beanie, raise your hand for us, Jeff. We have Jeff Cooperman. All right, give it up. Jeff is a television producer and showrunner. Throughout his award-winning career, he cycled between news and satire and documentary. Among his many credits include The Colbert Report, Dateline NBC, James Cameron's Story of Science Fiction, Generation X, and TV Nation. He lives right here in Montclair. Let's give it up again for Jeff. And next up, in the hat to his left, I got it, Ruben Atlas. Let's give it up for Ruben. He's a filmmaker and former lawyer whose featured documentaries include Netflix Bill Russell's Legend, about the basketball icon, Acorn and the Firestorm, about the controversial community group, which broadcasts on PBS's Independent Lens, and Netflix's Sour Grapes, about a con man in the world of high-end wine. His work has been supported by the Sundance Institute, the IDA, Black Public Media, and ITVS, and screened around the world in theaters and festivals including Tribeca, South by Southwest, and most importantly, the Montclair Film Festival. Give it up again for Ruben. And our third and final judge on the end, raise your hand for us, Gloria Lamorte. Welcome, Gloria. Gloria is a filmmaker and educator whose work has appeared on Netflix, Amazon, and HBO. She's taught screenwriting at City College and Montclair Film and is developing her comedic episodic, Rather Be Miserable. She currently leads the New York on-camera and audition studio at the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. Welcome again to Gloria. Let's give it up. Now that we know who's in charge, storytellers, listen up. These are your rules. The lovely Jennifer in the front row will give you the signs to let you know what your timing is like. The first sign she'll give you is the green card. You are halfway through your story. At 5 minutes, 1 minute left, a yellow card will appear. And then at 6 minutes, wrap it up. No, we are very kind and loving and enjoying on this beautiful month of Valentine's, but please try to wrap it up once you see that red sign. The only other rule is to be on theme. We're excited to hear what you have to share tonight. Our judges have their rules and criteria. There's also no intermission. So if you need a last drink or snack, please do that for yourself right now. But we are going to get started in just a moment. The blank date ever. I'm so excited to hear these stories tonight. Let's give it up for our first storyteller. Welcome to the stage, John Minus. Give it up for John.
Sorry, I was way back there. So this story is called Pre-Existing Conditions, or the most high stakes first date ever. On a first date, people never usually play all their cards. A first date's usually like the first round of poker. You hold your cards very close to your chest. You don't show them because you don't want that person to know you yet. This date was like Uno. It was just bam, 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 bam. We were trying to get rid of our cards as fast as possible. My dating history is sporadic for lots of reasons, good and bad. But basically, I know myself. I'm a niche product. I'm like horror movies. Like, not everybody likes horror movies, but the people who like them love them. And that's fine. So I don't date a lot, but this girl, she was into me. And it was weird because, like, they say, you have to play all these games when you're dating, right? You're not supposed to show the person you're interested. She was way interested in me, which was weird because she was hot. And that's not to say that I don't attract hot women, All my girlfriends have been way hotter than me, and I'm pretty damn fine. But she was gorgeous. She was 5'11" and just like honey brown skin and just a huge personality. That's what you all thought I was going to say, right? And she was really into me. So we get to this date, and she told me everything. It's like we were playing red flag chicken. Like, she was just getting everything out and seeing if I would flinch. And she doesn't know this guy. I'm a red flag factory. And like I said, she was hot. There wasn't anything that was going to make me dive off this ship. But she goes into her mental health history, her work history, her family history. And I'm like, all right, yeah, you think that's bad? All right. I went into my mental history, my family's mental history. In fact, I went to grad school to try and rehabilitate sex offenders, which who does that? And the fact that I have a droid, which I love, but some of you ladies think is a red flag. No FaceTime for me. I like my privacy. She was unperturbed. She wasn't going away. And this was great. We had this first date in the back room of Just Jake's, and we were there for 3 hours just talking and talking and talking about all this stuff. And even before that, we were talking so much. Like the week before we had our date, we would talk for hours a day. And one day we didn't talk because I had to work for like 8 hours, and she finally messaged me like, okay, I get it if you don't want to pursue this. And I'm like, what? No. What? You think I ghosted you? No. But we even talked about Watchmen. Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's about what I expected. Watchmen is not a surface comic book. Watchmen is a deep dive nerd comic book. That is for the serious I didn't get laid in high school people. It's like the Fight Club of comic books. And she talked to me about this for hours. And then we talked the day before my birthday, and like longtime listeners will know my birthday is a big deal. So we had my day after my birthday, and she brought me presents. People I've known for years didn't bring me presents. She got me a card, and she brought me the paperback of Watchmen, which was sweet, but it was a $20 book. All of this would be considered red flags to people who are forgetting that she was hot. So around the third hour of the date, she starts like leaning into the stuff that you're really not supposed to talk about on first dates. She wants to have kids. And she doesn't just want to have kids. She wants to have kids as soon as humanly possible. Her biological clock was ringing like Big Ben, and she wanted me to know this. Now, at the time, this was a few years ago, I was like 44 or something. And I know men can have children at any age, but like I was 44, I'm a cancer survivor, like I'm tired. I don't know if I could be chasing a toddler around in my fit, like, it was a lot. And she also wanted to move to Alabama. Now, I love New Jersey. But, and I can't stress this enough, she was really hot. So I thought about it. I thought about the kids, I thought about moving. It's like, when is this gonna happen again? So the date ended and we hugged and it was really great. I had a really good feeling. The next day she calls me and she's like, well, you weren't real enthusiastic about the kids thing, so I don't know if this is gonna work out. Also, like, you can't have kids the regular way, and so I don't want to have like IVF or anything. So I call her Etna because she rejected me for a pre-existing condition. Shouldn't have got cancer. That was my bad. But thing is, I really thought about it, and I didn't want to leave New Jersey anyway. Thanks a lot, everybody.
All right, let's keep it going for John Minus. Whew. John. Let her get away. Goodness. The best date I ever had, the first date I ever had, that woman now also lives in Alabama. My wife calls her guitar hero because I tried to learn to play guitar to impress this girl, but I have these ham hocks instead of hands, so I'm a drummer, not a guitar player. So, all right, John, thanks for kicking us off. All right, let's keep it going. Well, warm welcome for our second storyteller tonight. Let's give it up for Demi Hart. Come on up, Demi.
I didn't have that long of a walk like John, but okay. Oh, whoa. It's been a minute since I've been on the mic. Okay. Hi, friends. Okay, so this, the themes might be happy and unrequited, but my day story wasn't cute at all. And if it's like the theme is striking gold, this was pyrite or something else, fool's gold. Okay, we don't have to go back to that. So context: I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I've only been in Jersey for a couple of years. So my story goes back to a couple years ago when I was in my early 20s and I was thinking about leaving Cleveland. It was getting recently gentrified. So, that's when they put the real grass in the nice lampposts, not in the ghetto, but adjacent or on the outskirts. So I was like, okay, we're getting, some things growing and changing. And I had a friend and she's like, oh my God, girl, you gotta go to this taco spot. It's like right near your house and your neighborhood. Again, on the hem of the ghetto, not in, but on the hem. So she's like, oh, it'd be these dudes there. It's like dudes with money and like this and that. And I'm like, okay, but what about the menu? Like I don't really care about the patrons. How are the tacos? Like you can't just preface, like, you need to go to this place. Like, okay, what about the nachos? I'm serious about the food. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just go take myself out on a little date, little nacho, little tequila. So it was really super cute. I stayed there for a minute, enjoyed my time, got a little drink, got a little food, and it started to get empty. So I took an Uber there, but I was just hanging out. And you know how you see the bar emptying out, but there are still the regulars there. Now, it only take a little eye contact when it's only you and some other people in the room for them to lock in and be like, I'm with you. So I'm like, oh, snap, I gotta make weird eye contact with people. So I'm like, we gotta be mindful of our gaze. So, the bar's clearing out, and there's this guy at the bar. Now, he looks like a bar regular. Not this bar, but you can tell when somebody frequents the bar, okay? He was a regular. I'm like, okay. So we lock eyes, and again, I'm like, I'm in my early 20s. Somebody needs to pay for these tacos. So I said, great, okay. You want to lock eyes? We're in it together. So, he comes over. He's offering to, pay for the tab and buy more drinks and stuff. So we hung out for, at least 40 more minutes before, it was closing. So I was like, because he was drink after drink. I was like, well, I guess I'm in it for the plot now. So he's asking me, okay, it's closing. Do you want to go to another spot? And I'm like, okay, well, my tacos is paid for. I guess I'll entertain. Again, when you're in your early 20s, the red flags are just this might be a good story. You don't really think about, oh, well, so nice. So we're heading out, and we go to the parking lot. And as he's leading me to the car, and this is Uber wasn't new, but it was kind of newer, I'm seeing this very little tiny old lady in the front seat of the car that he's directing me to. I'm up here nah, Uber dead wrong. They need to put an age limit on who they got driving. That's not even fair. Y'all, she was so, I was like, to my surprise, y'all, he opens the door. Mom, get out of my seat. I said, I almost dropped the tacos. Y'all said, wait a minute. I said, your mother, wait a minute. I said, is she an Uber driver? But he's like, no, I do this all the time. I come and pick her up food. And I said, but wait, she been in the car? I don't even remember if he got her food or whatever. This must be their norm. So I'm like, okay, at this point, just drop me off on the hem of the ghetto. You ain't even gotta know where I live. Just take me. So he's insisting, no, I'm gonna drop her off and we're just gonna da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Again, in it for the story at this point. And they're arguing the whole way. So I'm thinking we're gonna drop her off and just go to this spot and that'll be it. We went from here, there, everywhere to the corner store to pick up a friend who owed him money to another spot, all while the mother was still very much riding along with us. I was getting concerned, y'all. I'm just like, how often do you do this? I wanted to lean up look, if he does this often, we can go away together. I will call somebody right now, you do not have to go through this. I know it's your son, but you don't have to live like this. So finally, we did end up at the last bar. And she comes out of the car with us. I was like, if this is their norm, I guess they're hanging out buddies. I didn't even investigate that deep, y'all. So we get to the bar and I sit with her because at this point I feel like we're life partners. Like, we're surviving an escape room together right now. Like, me and her, lady, you're my date, okay? And after a while, like, he was just having his own time. I'm pretty sure he was like, oh, that's my girl over there. And I was like, please, no. You'll never see me again. Please don't. So after a while, I was like, look, I'm fed up. I'm tired of the Saw games. I'm tired of playing. You got to take me home and take this lady home or I will start screaming in this bar. No, I said the screams. I will scream. And he's like, okay, great, whatever. We're going to take her home. The car ride was so silent. I just could not wait for us to be wherever we were going to be. So we pull up to their house, to my surprise, and I'm sure yours, they live together. So I'm like, okay. So he's like, okay, she's getting out the car, and she turned around. I just know I'm like, I'll always be thinking about you, lady. Like, please stay good. I don't know what's going on anymore, but I just hope he still takes care of this lady. So I didn't want even him to know where I lived. I'm like, you could drop me off and I'll just walk. But he's like, I insist. I'm da-da-da. I'm like, oh, okay. So he finally drops me off, and I don't even remember the conversation. I was just so ready to get out of the car. And I remember running upstairs and calling my mom, and I was so distraught. I just broke out in tears. I was like, she's like, she knew I went out, and she's like, well, what's wrong? Like, I was crying, y'all. She thought I got like robbed or something, like something terrible happened. And I was like, I was just a hostage. He was drinking and driving. I'm pretty sure I'm like an accomplice to elderly abuse. I just feel so bad. I never want to leave the house again. And so, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the moral of the story is if you're ever feeling yourself and you want to go out with someone and you're out, just ask if their mother is in the car. Thank you.
All right, keep it going for Demi Hart. Yeah. I have so many questions, but we're going to leave it there because that was excellent. Nice job, Demi. All right, let's keep it going for our third storyteller for the night. Welcome to the stage, Briege Julian. Come on up, Briege.
Hello, guys. What's up? All right. So my title is The Most Unexpected First Date Ever. So I'm going to paint the story for you guys. So it's a Sunday morning, freezing, and I'm walking to New York Penn Station. I went to party out with my friends in the Bronx the night before. It's Sunday. The trains run every 2 hours. I gotta go home. I have these boots on, leather jacket, messy bun, slightly hungover. My eyelash is still intact, surprisingly, so I'm looking half decent. So I'm like, okay, let me just like put my head down in my own world, and I'm just crawling around trying to find out, okay, so where's my train? When's it coming? I'm like, walking around, and then I just glance up and I see this boy, and I'm like, oh, he's a looker. He is looking delicious. And I'm like, wow, he's like head to toe dressed nice. And nowadays, I mean, men can dress pretty questionable. So it was like very nice. So in the meantime, I'm texting my best friend. He's actually in the crowd now. And I was like, hey, I just saw like such a beautiful boy. And he was like, oh, you should tell him that. I was like, what? First of all, like, I'm not thinking anything of like ever approaching him like on my phone. I don't even want to like be in public at the moment. So for him to say that, it actually had me thinking. I'm like, well, if he said that and he knows me, it's like, maybe this is something I could do. Maybe I can actually step out of my bubble to do this. So I'm like, okay, just thinking. And then I just glance up from my phone, and he's looking at me, and not just like like halfway blink, like in my peripheral vision, like he locked eyes with me. I was like, oh shit, oh shoot, and then he like kept looking at me, and then he smiled, and I was like, all right, so now I can't do anything about this. If I don't do it, then like no, I can't even get in the way of myself. So I have to go about this some way. Let me try to think of a plan to approach this person. So I'm like, okay, so my train's gonna come soon. Let me see what time, let me see when, whatever. I was like, okay, so when the train gets announced, I'm gonna go up to him really smooth and be like, oh, like, some cute little thing, like, you look so nice, or I like your outfit, like, let me give you my number. So a few minutes go by, okay, cool, let me just like work up, still hungover, nauseous, but I'm gonna get this done. And the train gets called. I was like, okay, cool. So I let the people in front of me go. They're passing by, they pass by, and then he starts walking to my train, and now he got called to the same one. So now the plot thickens, and now I don't know what to really do. So now I'm screwed, and I'm just like, okay. So it's like an episode of National Geographic with the hyenas, really just searching for the prey. And it's a crowd of people. It's like I'm floating through. It's a big ocean of people. So I'm trying to keep up. And as I keep walking, I eventually lose him. I'm like, okay, so let me just follow my intuition. And I just walk wherever I feel as though he would be. I don't know, just spiritually. So I start walking into the train, and 30 seconds later, he's there. He's alone in the cart. There's nobody next to him. I'm like, I found my seat. So I start walking up, and it's the aisle that's right opposite to him, not the one directly next to him. That's too brave. And then I was right there. And I was like, okay, so how am I gonna really say anything? Because obviously we're on this train for a while, so I can't say anything stupid. And he has headphones in, so what am I really gonna say to this person where it's not weird? So in my head, I'm just let me try to make this kind of like a movie, A24 vibe. What can make this really, really cool? So I'm like, well, let me maybe go on my phone, my notes app, and say, I think you're beautiful, and then tap him or something. So the train is they're taking the tickets and whatever, super romantic. And then we eventually start driving or get the train rolling. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tap him, but only when we're outside. So it has a dreary little outdoor window look when I do this because I'm ridiculous. So as soon as the train's going, cool, I'm like, okay, I tap him, and then I show him the phone, and then he looks at the phone, and he immediately smiles, and then he blushes, and then he's like, oh, I think the same about you. And I was like, oh, really? So that's great. So then it made everything so much easier. We started yapping. He told me about his environment, the countries he's visited, all the things he's done, why he's visiting the city, and it honestly made just the whole experience feel okay, so I was nauseous at first, but this makes a lot of sense. I'm happy that I went out of my bubble to actually go and talk to a stranger, because nobody does that. So he eventually was like, okay, this is my stop. Why don't we just hang out after? I get off the stop, complete stranger, and we're just walking around town. We're frolicking like teenagers, and it's really, really nice. And it made me realize that when you actually put yourself out there, you can put yourself in situations that might be the best experience, even though it's an experience you didn't plan. So overall, I don't know if I'll ever see him again, probably not. But that was my first date, unexpected.
All right, let's keep it going for Briege. More people should tell people they're beautiful. People come up to me and say things like, I could climb you. I also head down on the train a lot, All right, thanks, Briege. That was excellent. Let's keep it going for our fourth storyteller for the night. Welcome to the stage, Mike Salona. Come on up, Mike.
I once went on a date that ended up with me crying and beaten up. Not fun. I went on a date with this girl. She did mixed martial arts. I don't go to the gym. That, it was not a thing. She didn't break my heart, but she sprained my ankle. She was like, you want to go? I was like, we can go to Olive Garden. Honestly, anything's better than that. She choked me out. It wasn't fun. We actually went on a second date. She was hardcore, man. At first, she was like, let's come roll around. And that's different from where I come from. I got excited. We met at a skate park. She could skateboard. I shouldn't be on wheels. I'm top heavy. That's not ending well. I showed up in skinny jeans. She was like, you look like a cake pop. I was like, all right. I stepped on the skateboard because you do things for love. You step outside of your comfort zone. I fell. She goes, rigatoni hawk. She wasn't the one. Spoiler alert. No, I'm married now, so dates are different. Yeah. Dates are, they still end with no sex. Spoiler alert. Yeah. But no one tells you when you get married, you have a date night every week for the rest of your life. My wife signs me up for everything. Whatever. Why? I didn't know. She's like, you want to go apple picking? Every weekend she wants to go apple picking. I gave in once, took her to the grocery store. She once brought me to this church. And like, I grew up Roman Catholic. I'm Italian, you know. She's like modern, non-denominational, mega Christian, hippie. I call it lazy Catholic, let's be honest. We showed up, they were doing baptisms outside at a pool party. I got kicked out because I was going, Marco Polo. People were coming out there like, I feel saved. I feel the warmth of Jesus. I think someone's going pee-pees in the pool. Yeah, I don't date anymore. Ugh. My wife, she wants to every weekend. She's like, date night. We're going to an escape room. You guys ever go to an escape room? So you pay $55 to feel like a moron? She's like, we're going to go into a room and do math. I'm like, that sounds horrible. I went to public school. I'm a moron. I love how she tries to sell dates, too. She's like, oh, we're going to go to an escape room. You get locked in a room with friends and family, and you try to get out. I go, we call that Thanksgiving. I've never gotten out of that. You ever go to an escape room and they partner you with another couple? That's fun. No one talks about when you double date, too. So we're in the escape room, and you play a game called, man, we're trying to get out, and also I think they have domestic disputes. Something's not right. Something's going on. Date nights seem different now. I got 2 little kids. I don't even like kids. I didn't want kids. I just don't have the core strength to pull out. I was on bottom, just kidding. Montclair, what's up, man? Let's get real. I mean, come on. We can make a documentary about it. Hello. Over COVID, man, our date nights turned into just watching Game of Thrones together. That was like our date night. Sure, my wife was like, yeah, it's a fun show about dragons. Like, is that the show that turns women on nowadays? Whatever happened to kissing their neck and putting on Boys to Men? It's a fictional show with fire-breathing dragons. Like, how am I supposed to compete with that? I take prescription antacids. I mean, I could just breathe on it. Yeah, trying to spice things up. She likes Game of Thrones. She wants a sexy medieval knight. I've been married long enough. I know what you got to do on date night. You got to spice things up. You got to go outside your comfort zone. I looked up plus-size armor. I couldn't afford it. But I love my wife. You'll do what you can for your wife. I wrapped myself in tinfoil and just ran at her. I'm like, we're going to joust. She wasn't into it. She said I looked like a baked potato. That's when she started calling me Little Italy. Medium-sized Italy, let's be honest. It's hard because we have kids, so you can't really have a date night. They're always around. Yeah, that's like a rule. You got to take care of them and feed them. Who would have thought? A buddy of mine, he goes, dude, what you should do, take a tray of chicken nuggets, throw them in, go fool around with your wife. I said, that's a horrible idea. I'm not missing nuggets. You guys have been delicious. My name is Mike Sloan, and thank you for letting me be silly.
All right, let's
go on a date
Mike
tonight. What's up? Oh, I got to put this back in.
Joust it, Mike. Joust it.
Hello.
Oh, well done. All right, let's keep it going for Mike one more time. Very, very nice. I did the escape room down the street once, to which I realized that I am more like a golden retriever than a human man. Really excited the first 5, and as soon as the math got real, I fell apart. Just laid down, took a nap. It's not great. All right, we are almost halfway through. We've had some great stories so far. Let's welcome to the stage our next storyteller. Welcome Chibuzo Anyanwu. Come on up, Chibuzo.
Hello, everybody. Everybody looks great tonight. Okay, you know, Jersey in the house. I see you, see y'all. I'm tall, so let me adjust this. Yeah. Let's take it out. Yeah. Thank you so much. All right, so show of hands, how many people are from Jersey but work in the city or have worked in the city before? Okay, so we have been victimized by Liberty, the Liberty State. Cool, cool, cool. So that was my life back in summer of 2019, back in my 20s, feeling myself, working in Hudson Yards, where it's a very nice area, very cute. And during that summer, this is like the most emotional date ever. And I met this guy on Tinder, don't judge me too harshly. And he was amazing, actor from Brooklyn. This was our second date, and we went to this spot right next to my employer. It's called Mercado Little Spain. It's a supermarket and a restaurant. Very super cute. We were enjoying ourselves, having rabbit, and lots of wine. Expanding our horizons. And the topic of parents came up. So a little backstory. My father passed away 10 years ago. At this point, it was 4 years ago. Took his whole face, just adorable. That was my twin, my best friend, everything. And I'm Nigerian. His best friend is also Nigerian, and his best friend had lost his father like a year prior. So we were talking about that, just about the grieving process. He was saying his best friend's father acted as a additional father figure for him. And at some point, this freaking guy, at some point he says to me that, hey, your dad transitioned knowing that you would be okay. And y'all remember Fantasia on American Idol when she cried? That was me, just like, that was literally me. And then he started like tearing up too. And this is a dude from East New York. So, that it's like, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Like this dude who's so serious to start tearing up too. And then we're just tearing up and it's just a whole thing. Right? And, as I hold this water bottle, I'm just like, Jesus, why couldn't you just come down here and turn this wine into water? Because just like, I'm struggling right now. But yeah, like the real MVP on the date wasn't me or him. It was the waiter. Because you know how damn awkward it has to be to watch like two people during a date just crying their eyes out? And you try not to be rude, like, oh shit, okay. This is happening. This is really happening. So I'm gonna let them have their moment. They definitely don't need any refills. Yes, they've definitely had enough. But nah, it was such a beautiful, sacred moment. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, you must think I'm crazy, which I am, but like, let me reveal that on the fourth or fifth date or something. Like, I'm doing this too soon. And at the end of the night, he was a perfect gentleman, still like how he was on the first date. He walked me to inside the Port Authority, where I could take the bus back to Jersey, made sure I was safe, and just reassured me, calmed me down, all that. And we went a couple of dates after that. So like what the moral of the story is like be open. You never know what you're gonna get into. Like the young lady said, it was an unexpected, pleasant surprise. And it's funny, like even though that situation didn't work out, I was so grateful for that time. Like it was just a month and a half of like just pure bliss and like a lot of lessons. I was 24, he was 32. So I learned a lot from him. And he was saying like, again, this is a dude from Brooklyn. He's like, you mad young, don't worry about it. You're gonna find somebody, don't worry about it. And then it's just like, I make this joke, like I ask God to keep me away from men from Brooklyn and Jamaicans, but I'm hard-headed. And I don't listen. And there's a special somebody in my life right now. And of course, he's from Brooklyn. So yeah, like shout out to you, sir. And looking forward to being on this journey with you. And thank you so much for this time, guys.
All right, keep it going for Chibuzu. Beautiful story. Thank you. I love when people just kind of stop by in our lives, give us a little something that we need. We didn't know we needed it, and then we just keep it moving. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing that. All right, we are halfway through our storytelling lineup for tonight. Let's welcome to the stage our next. This is Tomo Lovric. Welcome up, Tomo.
So this is the best date ever? Many, many moons ago, in a diagnostics lab not so far away, I was a young man working third shift, trying to chat up a gorgeous young lady that worked the morning shift. She looked like a rich man's Mariah Carey, really long, gorgeous, curly hair, and she spoke with a easily noticeable English accent that had a Texas twang interspersed here and there. Well, color me confused. So I was thinking probably what you guys were thinking, and I said to her in my very polite Flushing, New York way, "Where the fuck are you from?" And turns out she was born in the UK to a Danish mom and a West Indian dad, and she moved to the States in her early teens, and she had just moved back from Austin, Texas. Well, all right. So I was really smooth. Except I wasn't. I had horrible sinus problems at this point in my life. So I sounded like this when I talked, and I'm asthmatic. So I was basically a giant wheezing bagpipe of boogers, snots, and mucus who was sneezing and wiping his nose every 5 minutes. But I was a young man. No self-awareness. So I asked the young lady out for dinner and a movie. And to my surprise and confusion, she said, "That sounds like fun, but I don't like to stay up late, so how about just dinner?" "Yeah, I can do dinner, sure." Wait, was that pity in her eyes? Is she throwing me a bone? I'm okay with that. We decided to go out Friday, March 31st. I'm really excited and really nervous. I don't have a lot of money, that's why I'm working third shift. But I will impress this young lady no matter what. So I reserve a table at the Chart House in Weehawken. Yes, and this was the old Chart House before it burned down. Very cozy, very cute, just this gorgeous view of Manhattan. No doubt she's gonna be impressed. Day comes, I pick her up. She looks amazing. She's got this tartan miniskirt on with black wool stockings and very chic combat boots, a red turtleneck sweater, a cool leather jacket, hair going past her hips. I'm floored. It was the 90s, we had good fashion. So we're driving down to Weehawken, and conversation's going really well. I'm feeling really good about this date. I'm on cloud 9 even. And I turn into the parking lot to the Chart House, and they had a low wall and had the lights there in red. It says, "Chart House, seafood, steaks, meats." And she turns to me and she says, "Did I not tell you I'm a vegetarian?" Ah! It took everything I had not to careen right through that wall and sink us into the Hudson. And at first I started sputtering like, the boogery wheeze bag I was, but then in a very even and non-panicky voice I said, "No, you definitely neglected to mention that I would remember that. We could go someplace else and I'll buy some cabbage." She smiles. I must have looked like a tomato that just pooped itself because she was laughing. And she says, "Don't worry about it. I'm sure they have an angel hair pasta dish that I can have." "Are you sure? We'll go someplace else." "I'm fine. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I'm fine." These bastards better have an angel hair pasta dish. They did. It came with a lovely mushroom sauce. It was great. So we order dinner. We order a bottle of wine. We're eating, we're drinking, we're having a good time. We order a second bottle of wine. Things start getting kooky now. For some reason, our waiters switch, middle of the date. Now the waiter is Kirk. Kirk is 6'8", and he's as gay as he is tall, and not shy at all to flirt with me the entire date. And I have no idea what to do with this. My date is loving life. She's laughing hysterically the whole time. I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now. Later, I go to the restroom, do my business, I'm washing my hand. There's an elderly gentleman there, and as I'm washing, he's doing this. And I'm kind of like in the periphery, like, what's happening? He says, "Don't you think she's too young for you?" There's no one else in the bathroom. It's just the two of us. And I'm like, what? So then, the wine and my flushingness gets a hold of me. And I turned to him and said, "First of all, she's 3 years older than me, all right? Second of all, mind your fucking business, sir." I'm like fuming, I go out and I tell my date what happened. She's laughing hysterically. Well, dinner finishes, I pay for the date. I said, all right, let me take you home. She said, it's early yet, let's go to the movies. Yeah, but you said, it's early. Oh, okay, we go to a movie, we have fun. I said, all right, let me take you home. And she said, I'm peckish, let's go to a diner. See, young men are dumb with a capital B. I didn't realize she was telling me she was having a good time on the date by extending the date in steps. Even the next day, my friends were like, how's the date? And I was like, I think it went well. Long story short, it went better than that because this March 31st, it's 30 years that we've been together. Thank you, guys.
All right, let's keep it going for Tomo. Got me. You got me. I didn't see it. All right, nice job, Tomo. Thanks so much. Let's keep it rolling right away. We're going to welcome to the stage Peter Carter. Come on up, Peter.
Hi, everybody. When I was thinking about what I wanted to say first, I started like, well, where was I 10 years ago? 10 years ago, I was married to the same woman for almost 30 years, 4 kids, and probably if everything hadn't changed, I'd probably, we'd be strolling down Bloomfield Ave. Didn't work out that way. My wife passed away, and then I literally got married to the first woman that I talked to outside of my family. And that didn't work out. So now I am 62 or 3 years old, dating on Bumble, on Hinge. And I was like, what am I doing? Because literally, I'd never been on a first date before. That's not how I met any woman I'd ever been with. So, in this particular case, it was Bumble. And I see this woman, we'll call her D, because this is not the best date ever. She deserves a little privacy. So I see her, and she has the most beautiful hazel eyes. And I was just like, and then her profile says her ideal first date is to go to the Museum of Natural History. I was like, yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm like a jock nerd. That's perfect for me. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, so, yeah, and she describes, what she wants to do, see at the Natural History Museum. I was like, we got context. We got someone that's kind of maybe a kindred soul here. That's perfect for me. And so, and then she's talking about the type of kiss that she might want to have on the date. And I was like, yeah. So, and the hazel eyes, and very, very beautiful woman. So, we talk for a couple days, and we go, and it literally was one of the best first dates I've ever had, but there's way more. And so, we go to the museum, and, we sit, and we're going around. I literally got so distracted by D and those eyes that I lost my phone. I left my phone on a bench, which I got back miraculously, which was crazy because I was flying to Seattle the next day. So we go to the coffee shop, and we're just talking, and it's just like someone mentioned the extension. So we're talking, and I just blurted out. I was like, listen, I feel bad, but I'm going to Seattle for a couple weeks. Are you good with that? And she's, yeah, I'm good. We're having a good time. And then we continue the date. We go to a Mexican restaurant after, have a great time. And so when I get home, I'm like, you know what? I want to see her again before I leave. My flight's at night. So I call her and I said, hey, let me come over. I got time my flight's at 6. I can see you. She's okay. She lived in the Bronx, and she's like, come meet me at this diner. So we go to the diner, have a great time, and just use up all the time that we have. Then, I leave. And then the next day, she calls me and says, I got to tell you something. My ex, who is a disgraced and formerly incarcerated New York City police detective, called me up and said, I heard you were in this diner with a white guy. And I was like, oh, and I was like, do you have this handled? And she said, yeah. And I was like, yeah, handled. So then I'm away. The dude goes to her job and supposedly left her at the altar also, by the way, and then goes to her home and just is like, I don't know. He's also married to someone else. So I come back and we go out again, and we go to her house, and it was also, I think this was also mentioned, we go to her house, and her dad, who's like 80, is in a room and never comes out, and we hang out. So one more. So she wants to go to a play. So we see Harry Potter, and we see it. And and I forgot this, that every time I saw her, the dude either texted her, the disgraced detective either texted her or called her. And so the last time it happens, we go to the play. He calls again. I was like, "We're done. You do not have this handled." So I just was like, "We're done. This is over." So months later, I get a text from a Florida number, and it says, and it's D. And this is months later. I got a room in the MC Hotel. I'm waiting for you. And I was just like, I was freaked out. And it's like, because I got this is stalking craziness, plus the detective behind the scene, and God knows. So I got in my car and I drove around Montclair, the whole area for the whole day. I didn't go back to my house because she knew where I lived. And so then the next day I'm like, now I'm handling my stuff now, and I'm getting my territory back. I'm going to Paper Planes like I do every day. So I walk down to Paper Planes and I see this woman, and she looks just like Dee. But she'd always had her long hair blown out, but it's now wavy. And I get closer, and I'm as close as you and I are. It's Dee. She's sitting there waiting for me at Paper Planes. So what did I do? I was weak, and I just ran as fast as I could. I literally ran full speed to Bloomfield Avenue because I just didn't know what to do with myself. So this is dating in your 60s, and if you see even if you see the hazel eyes, take a step back.
All right, keep it going for Peter. There are a lot of fit people in Montclair, and they're always running. I always thought they were exercising. Oh, goodness. Wow, you handled your business, though. Good job. All right, we just have a few more. One storyteller didn't check in when they got here. Is Eddie Rowland in the room? No? Yes? Wonderful. All right, so we only have 3 more to close out our evening. Let's welcome to the stage our next storyteller. This is Salma Hasabioglu. Welcome, Salma.
Okay. Hi, hello. I have a confession to make because this is a date story, and as a Muslim, we are not allowed to date. So at least when you're going on a date, you know you're going on a date, but we don't. And the last Valentine's Day, I was sitting in a dinner with a boy that, of course, right now this is date, right? And when people told us Happy Valentine's Day, he just shouted out "Oh, I'm still single." I was like, really? That's why you are single right now. Then I decided to go on a arranged date. At least I would have known that it's a date. And it just started with some ablas. In Turkish, it's friendly older sister. She called me "Hi, how are you, beautiful? How are you doing? Can you come and check with me?" And a little bit. When I went there, she told me, "Oh, you look so beautiful and young today. How are you? Oh, but maybe tomorrow you won't look like that young." And she told me, "Oh, what are you thinking about marriage?" And I was like, right now I'm not thinking about marriage. I'm 23. But I think you should. So I went back a little bit and asked myself, do I want a relationship? Do I want a date? At least I knew, like, there's a emotionally available person in front of me. So, okay, why not try it? So I thought she would give me some information about him, at least his phone number or his name. But yeah, she's very secretive about that. She just showed me his picture like this, and sadly, I weren't wearing my glasses, so there's nothing for me in there. And I asked her, "Oh, is he blonde? Is he like tall?" And she looked at the picture again, and yeah, sure, why not? He's a little bit brownish. We can say blonde, and yeah, he had some height. That will be enough for you, okay? Then she decided where I will go and when I will go, and she didn't tell me anything else. And when I went that place, I was looking around like anyone, maybe Turkish, that I can match with, and I was looking and looking, so I find another person who is looking around like me without knowing anything else. So we went on 3 dates. It was good for me. And he was great. He had a great personality and he had a job. And I think that was all for the sister over there. Then, I realized that even though I'm that modest, he was kind of a little bit conservative than me in a lot of ways. And my dates end with, he is asking me, how would you react if I advise you a little something about yourself? And I, as a woman, we love advices from males. And I asked, what? What are you gonna advise me? I'm thinking about sometimes your elbows showing off, and sometimes your hair is a little bit showing off over there. And I was like, okay, man. From the nudity to here, yeah, there's lots of steps, like bikini shirt, t-shirt, and you're sitting over there wearing t-shirt and shirts. I'm kindly and politely eat you alive if you ask me this. And it was end of our date and end of my story. Thank you.
Let's keep it going for Salma. Nice job. We hope you find your match. All right, just a few more left tonight. Thank you. What excellent story so far. Let's welcome to the stage Victoria Galucci. Come on up, Victoria.
Hi. My messy first date. He responded to my dating profile with the most captivating letter, like something out of a Jane Austen novel. I was so taken by his earnest vulnerability that I did something I never do. I responded with my cell phone number. I had barely taken my finger off the send button when the telephone rang. It was him. We started talking, and we really hit it off. Smooth sailing for about 20 minutes. Yeah, get ready, everybody. And that's when he started talking about the end of his marriage. I like her. He'd become a born-again Christian as a teenager. He married a born-again Christian woman that he met in college, with whom he raised 4 homeschooled born-again Christian children. 20 years into the marriage, though, he began to question his beliefs. And his doubts tore an irreparable hole in the marriage. That's when I interrupted him and told him he didn't need to tell me anymore because I already knew his full story. 2 months prior, I had quit a part-time job I'd had at Starbucks. I'd been there for almost a year, and I met a lot of great people, including this fascinating teenage girl. She was sweet, she was funny, and she was a homeschooled, born-again Christian child. Raised in a life I knew nothing about. We grew close, and she began to confide in me about the problems her parents were having in their marriage because her father recently started questioning his faith. Right before I left the job, she told me her parents had indeed separated. She was scared, confused, and very, very angry at her father. I suspected right there that the guy I was talking to on the phone was this teenage girl's dad, and he was. So I explained, I know your daughter too well. We cannot continue talking, and there's no way we're ever going out on a date because it would really bother her if she ever found out. He didn't agree, but I was adamant, and I ended the phone call. For the next 5 days, I came home to a message from him on my landline. Let's go out to dinner and talk. Call me. I ignored until the 5th night, because when I got home to his message, I also got home to no food in the house for dinner. So, all right, I'm a single woman, okay? No food. So I called him and I said, okay, let's have a platonic dinner and we'll talk about it. To this day, I can't remember where we ate or what we had for dinner, because as soon as we met in person in that restaurant, the chemistry between us was mind-blowingly intoxicating. White hot chemistry. And this was something I hadn't felt in a long time. After dinner, we decided to go to my old Starbucks for coffee. I love you guys. I don't have to tell the rest because you all already know. His daughter had recently quit working there, so there was absolutely no chance that we were going to bump into her, right? We got lattes, and we took a seat in the back when the fates decided to remind me what happens when fools rush in. His daughter walked into the Starbucks. She spotted us immediately like, what, there was a fucking spotlight on us? And the look on her face registered both shock and betrayal. I did the only mature, responsible thing I could think of doing. I grabbed my date by the arm and dragged him out the back door and into the alley behind the Starbucks. We stood there like two guilty idiots. Now what? He asked. I don't have a now what, I answered. I do, he replied. And then he kissed me. This man kissed me the way God intended a man to kiss a woman. I knew that no matter what happens next, I wanted to be kissed like that again. So I grabbed him by the arm, and I dragged him back into the Starbucks, walked up to his daughter, and I said, yes, your father and I are on a first date. There will be a second. Why don't you sit down with us right now, and let's talk it all out. And that's exactly what we did. Thank you.
All right, keep it going for Victoria. So that's what's in that book, huh? Born Again teaches you how to, okay, romance. Thanks, Victoria, that was awesome. We got one more storyteller to bring us home. We got a returning veteran storyteller with us. Please give it up for Angela Gray. Come on up, Angela.
Hello, hello. Hi. So I'm driving down this cul-de-sac trying to figure out where the heck this house is. I'm on the phone with my girl, like, what number is 152? Where is this? I can't find this. I'm gonna have this house date with this dude because we couldn't get our stuff together because kids' schedules and this schedule. So he said, okay, I'll come over. No problem, I'm fine. I feel safe enough. I feel good. A couple weeks of talking, texting, calls, we're good. So she's like, I found it on Google Maps. Here it is. She's like, took a screenshot. There's a black truck. I was like, I see a black truck. Huzzah, we're there. So park, roll up. Now, he had told me that he was going to take a nap in the meantime. The door was going to be open. The lights were going to be off. He's going to be asleep. Totally safe. So I go up to the door, and I'm like, and I come in. Felt like it was Three's Company. Here we go. So anyway, I come in, I see him. The TV is illuminating the living room. He's on the couch, laid out, hoodie over his face, wearing basketball shorts, little white socks. I was like, okay. Had noticed some Amazon packages on the porch, so I was just like, let me just go grab those. So I just brought him in, dropped him in the foyer because I thought, that's polite. And he's napping. Throw him down, turn around. He's in front of me, I'm in front of him. He had AirPods on, he didn't see me. We screamed, hey. So then it's like, oh, ha, ha, huggies. And then he flips on the lights, and I put down my bag and my coat, and then I look at him, and I see him, and I was like, no. No, nope, not now, never, ever. And you just know, no, not gonna happen. So anyway, TikTok. So we're there, we sit on the couch. Oh, do you want a beverage? No, I'm good. Do you want something to drink? No, I'm straight. And he's like, oh, I have this, I have this, I have this. I was like, okay. He's like, oh, but I could order something to drink. I was like, we might need one. And so he's like, I could order it. How long would that take? 20 minutes. Nah. He was like, oh, we could drive to this liquor store a few blocks away. Yes. Eating time. So then we get to the truck, and he's just like, you want to drive my truck? No. And he's like, are you scared? No. Let's get to the stove. So we're driving, and he's just like, oh my gosh, it's so great. Like, we look like our pictures. And look, he looked like a version of himself that was broader, wider, somethinger. And but he was in there. So anyway, we're chit-chatting, and he's like, oh my gosh, I got that promotion. Awesome, yay, hurrah. And he's like, I got that promotion. I was like, great. And he's like, I'm having this big ceremony. And he's like, they're going to present me with this major award, and it's going up on the wall. And he was like, and you should present it to me. What? And I was like, and I was like, how far are we from this red light? And I was like, well, don't you think your kids should present that to you? And his face kind of was like a little broken. And he was like, I guess. I just thought it would be dope. I was like, So then I was like, next light, we're almost there. And I was like, oh my gosh, red light, green light, red rover, send this mofo over. And I was like, so we get to the liquor store. I was like, I'm gonna grab whatever red, white, rosé BS I can grab. Bam, got this Whispering Angel bottle. There, he's trying to introduce me to the people there. I was like, you don't need to know me, you don't see me. And so we leave, we get back to the house, pour drinks. He's like, pours my beverage in a glass. I took a glass and poured his beer. He's like, oh my God, that's so nice. Nobody ever does anything for me. I was like, meow. So then he's like, do you like my home? Do you like my house? And I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And he's like, this could be all ours. And I was like, what the Mickey Fricky is going on here? So then he's like, and then he kind of moved in, and since the moment that I got there, he was actually doing these little kissy kisses, and it was that thing where that aunt that's crazy that comes and just wants to smooch on you and give you nose kisses, but with your lips. It was like, ooh. He was like the Hamburglar of kisses. Any moment he could, he was just in there. So I had the rosé, and I was like, bam, bam, defense, and I was like, whatever. So then he's just like, oh, and he's like, well, where should we retire? Nowhereville, USA, mofo. I was like, oh my God, TikTok. But I had sent a text to my girlfriend when I got out the truck to get that Hail Mary rescue call. Girl, make that call the code red. So then we're talking some more, and then he was just like, wow. And he's like, this is just so amazing. And he tried to kiss me. I was like, and he was like, can I just love you? Can I just love up on you? And I was like, okay, so we're about to be at, it puts the lotion in the basket, it puts the lotion on its skin. I was like, woo, what time is it? So then I'm just like, all right. So talk a little bit more, defense, and then we had a really nice conversation, learned a couple things, and then the magical ring happens. Ring, ring, ring. Hello? What? the children. Do you need me to come right now? I'm there. I was like, I'm so sorry, sir. I was like, you know what? The children, I've got to go. And I grabbed my bag, I grabbed my jacket, or I started to, and then he was right there in front of me, and I looked at the door, so near, so far. And then he's there, and then he was like, do you know what you do to me? And then he was like, can you see? And I was like, what? And then suddenly he did some voodoo, kung fu, Houdini stuff. And he took those shorts, flipped them, and I was like, what? And then suddenly his twig and his berries is out, and I was cupping his berries. How the heck that happened? I do not know. But, so, the door, the berries, what? And then I look down, he looks down, I look down, and then I see this corner of like this plastic right there, and I'm like, so curiosity's gonna kill this little kitty cat. I was like, what's that? And he's like, oh, he jumps back. The berries are gone. My hand is cut, paralyzed. And then I look, and then I was like, is this like plastic? That was like 3 soy sauce packets with of something, and had like green pea soup looking. He's like, that's my colostomy bag. I'm sorry. And he's like, you know, I'm having surgery next week, and I was gonna tell you for scheduling, and this, and I was like, you don't need to apologize for that, sir. And I was like, there is nothing wrong with that. And I was like, so I was just like, boy. So I just said, my hand unfroze, and I was just like, you know what? I am wishing you all the well, turning him, hugging him, and I was like, you're gonna have great, there's gonna be no next week, I'm not gonna be any Florence Nightingale, I'm gonna get the Mickey Fricky out of here, and I head out the door, high five, bye, and then I go on that cul-de-sac, I roll out, call my girl, and I'm like, Ange is marked safe.
All right, keep it going for Angela. Twist, huh? All right, we have finished with our storytellers. Let's give it up one more time for all of our excellent stories tonight. Our judges are about to deliberate. We have one announcement from our wonderful Sue Hollenberg. She is our educational director here. Let's give it up for Sue.
All right, so great stories, everyone. And we have one more very special, very surprise story from one of our very own. This is a surprise to the audience and a surprise to our host. I would like to call up Montclair Film's own Jennifer Cambris for our final story. And judges, enjoy the story. You can put down, this is not part of the competition, so judges, not part of the competition.
Disengage.
Disengage, but for you all, you'll be in for a treat.
Okay.
Let's give it up for Jennifer Cambris.
So before I start speaking, the reason I'm doing this is because at the beginning of the year, my husband and my daughter and I all decided that we're going to start doing things that scare us more often, that require courage, so that by the end of the year, we'll have 12 things that we can look back at and be proud of. So last month, I went back to dance class for the first time in a decade. And this month is definitely public speaking without a script. As you can see, I'm not used to being on this side of the podium. So I'm going to do my best. And thank you guys for helping me earn my bravery badge this month. And thank you for giving them space to do it. Not that I gave you a choice, but thank you for not getting up right now. Okay. In the summer of 2004, I headed up to Ithaca College to go to freshman orientation. As I nervously walked into the conference center with my mom and 2 of the girls I was going to be rooming with during orientation that week, we sat down, and a kind, outgoing man next to my mother leaned over, gave her a firm handshake, and said, "Hi, I'm Jeff. This is my son." His son, 18 and equally as charismatic, leaned over and shook our hands. By the end of the hour, he had asked us for our phone numbers so we could hang out during orientation that week. And by the end of the week, we had collected a few other people and created a little friend group. Now, everybody in that friend group had a declared major except for he and I. We were what you call exploratory majors. What's an exploratory major, you ask? Sounds so exotic, you say. It wasn't. It meant undeclared and lost, but the nice thing about being an exploratory major is they gave you the first pick of classes right after the seniors. So they broke us up into small groups, and he and I just happened to be put together. And out of all of the random buildings they could have sent us to on campus, they sent our small group to the theater department. When we arrived there, the theater professor got to know us for a few minutes and then suggested we both take an intro to theater class to fulfill one of our gen eds. By the end of freshman year, I was working towards a Bachelor of Science in Theater Arts Management, which clearly I still do, and he was working towards a Bachelor of Arts in Drama. Our relationship continued to grow through the years. Now, I have to take a pause here to tell you, there was never anything even remotely romantic between us. I had been dating somebody for years back home, and he had had a few girlfriends throughout our time in college, and let's be honest, was a straight guy in the theater department, so it wasn't super hard to find a date. But we did have non-romantic, unconditional love for one another. For example, sophomore year, I had a really intense surgery and I couldn't lift anything for a few months. Not only did he call my parents every day post-operation, but when it came time to return second semester, he called to see if I'd be back in time to eat dinner with our friend group. I said, we're about 20 minutes away, but I can't actually help my parents unpack the car, so I'll just meet up with everybody tomorrow. 20 minutes later, we pulled up, and there he was, sitting on my dorm step in the freezing cold Ithaca, New York, January weather, waiting to help my parents. He skipped dinner with friends, helped my parents instead, took me to dinner afterwards, and wouldn't even let me carry my plate. Junior year was probably the longest we ever went without speaking. I was in London studying abroad at the beginning of the Skype era, if everybody remembers that. So of course it never worked. So you never talked to anybody. But it didn't really matter because he was at a theater institute in America and Russia, and they only let them have access to email about once a week. So by the time we returned senior year, a lot had changed. I was single for the first time in about 4.5 years, and he was single as well. We moved into a house with two of our best friends off campus, and things were going great. A couple months into senior year, in the middle of the afternoon, I was packing my bag for dance, and he walked in not quite looking like himself. I didn't really think anything of it, and then he said, "I need to talk to you about something." I said, "Go for it." And then he said, "I'm pretty sure I'm in love with you, and I don't know what to do about it because I usually talk to you about these kinds of things, and as your best friend, I think it's time for you to be single and date other people, but as a person who's in love with you, I feel like I'm gonna die if I don't tell you, so now you know. So we can talk about it when you get home from rehearsal, okay?" Okay. I was in shock. I remember packing my tap shoes in my dance bag and then dragging my dance bag behind me the way like Linus drags his blanket in the Peanuts cartoons. I didn't really know how to take it all in, so when I got home from rehearsal, being the pragmatist that I am, this will not surprise fellow staff, I created a pros and cons list. That's right, guys. I was like this all the way back then. Created a pros and cons list of what did or didn't make sense about the situation. And ultimately, I decided that it wasn't worth the collateral damage to our mutual friends. So we put it to the side, and for months we had this conversation secretly away from other people until about 2 months before graduation. He finally said to me, "I don't understand why we can't be together. It doesn't make any sense." I said, "You are my best friend. I can't risk losing you. I won't survive that." And then, without really thinking, I blurted out, "I mean, if we were gonna do something like this would be it for me. We're 22 and there would be nobody else. This would be forever. This would be it if we did it." And without hesitating or looking away, he looked at me directly in my eyes and said, "I'm in. I can do that. That's what I want. I'm in." It's been 21 years since freshman orientation, 17 years since we started dating. This will be our 11th year of marriage. We have worked some really crappy jobs and lived in some really, really crappy apartments. We've had some really tough fertility struggles and some really beautiful fertility successes. And now we live in a home with our dog and our 4-year-old daughter and our 10-month-old son. And for those of you who have become parents before, you know it's a lot like going through puberty. You're awkward and exhausted, and you're bumping into everything, and you're inexplicably hungry all the time. And you don't really remember the person you used to be, but it's not sad because you're pretty sure the person you're about to become is gonna be way more wonderful if you could just get through this moment together. And there's a lot of days where I feel like we're ships passing in the night, but once a month, we get dressed in clothes that don't have milk and melted chocolate all over them. And for a few hours, we get to feel like our 18-year-old selves again. when we come out on a date and come here to host a storytelling night. So happy date night, sweetie.
Keep it going for Jennifer Cambrus. Lucky guy, huh? Wow, that was the actual twist of the night. Whew. We usually don't tell anyone, so don't tell anyone. Thank you. I love you. Wow. I'm supposed to like send you guys off to go do a deliberation and be smooth, but that is what we will do. We're going to open the bar back up. We're going to put some music on. Our judges will head upstairs for about 10 or 15 minutes, deliberate. Storytellers, we are excited to hear who our winners are, but we are all winners tonight. Thank you for sharing such wonderful parts of your lives. Thank you for that round of applause. All right, we'll see you back in about 10. Thanks, everyone. Give it up for our judges one more time.
Thanks, everyone, for waiting so patiently. Boy, I gotta say, this was a great night, right? These were some incredible stories. So good. Don't blink or you'll miss it. And it was a very, very difficult and highly contentious struggle upstairs, I have to say. The other two judges are recovering. They'll be here soon. But I'm here to present the third place tonight. For a story. Sorry about this. I know the tension is killing everybody. Just keep drinking. For a story that we felt encapsulated the spirit of the evening and landed a lot of what the intentionality was for how to tell a story on a theme like tonight's. So without further ado, we'd like to award third place tonight to Tomo.
All right, come on up, Tomo. Give it up for Tomo. All right, and you get that swag bag. Show our wonderful photographer, Kareem. Give it up for Tomo Lovric. And we'll have you stay up as we get all of our other judges coming up.
All right.
All right, next up. Gloria.
Next up.
Ruben.
Nope, it's Angela.
I'll hold the bag for a moment. All right, wonderful. It's really wonderful to sit with fellow filmmakers, storytellers, and discuss what it is to tell a story, because it comes from the heart. There's technique. There's so much involved. So thank you for the opportunity to have us do this. This is absolutely amazing. In second place, the story goes to Angela Gray.
All right, give it up for Angela. Come on down.
Thank you, Angela. Really
Nice
enjoyed
job,
it.
Angela. All right, so your armrests are wood blocks. If you would like to drum roll for our first place prize, you're welcome to. All right, there we go. Ruben, who we got?
Before I do the first place prize, I gotta say that when I walked in, I just coincidentally had asked Duncan how him and Jen met. Just coincidentally, didn't know. And he
Strange
started.
timing.
He told me like a little bit of the story, and Jen came over and looked up at him, and she was like, "You're not telling that story." And he was like, "I'm not telling that story." She's like, "Look at me in the eye and tell me you are not telling that story." And I was like, "Whoa, that's intense." Now
I follow directions.
But I also saw you tearing up back there, holding it. I kept on looking because I knew where the punchline was going, so I was just watching him, just like hold it back. And I thought you would be bawling, but you were like super cool after that.
I just do single tears. Single.
So the winner tonight, like put us in her head. I thought in an amazing way. We all thought in an amazing way. Her point of view of taking us on the train, dropping Nat Geo and A24 references, really sort of took us to another place. We all loved it. The winner is Briege.
All right, Briege, come on down. Nice job in first place. Also gets a year subscription and membership to Montclair Film. Nice job. Show us that swag bag, Briege. There you go. Nice job. Let's give it up for our winners. Let's get one group picture together. Judges get close. Thank you so much. All right, for our last photo, yes, give it up. Can we get all of our storytellers up tonight? Every single one of you did a fantastic job, and we want to commemorate tonight's excellent evening. Yeah, keep it going. Thanks, Gloria. Oh, we got to get cozy. Yeah. Mike knows what to do. All right, what a generous audience. Thank you so much. Nice job, everyone. All right, thank you, everybody. We do this monthly. Come check us out the last Thursday of next month. Check us out at montclairfilm.org. We got tons of programs, things happening. Improv is here tomorrow night if you want to come see another show. Get home safe. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.